Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, as ever, I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another episode in my SE100 Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect exam series. We're back in the flow now after a bit of a break. Went away on holiday with my family to California, did a bit of a California road trip, and had a bit of a gap. I obviously recorded a lot of episodes before I went and sort of scheduled those to be uploaded. So I kind of covered my holiday period, but then when I got back, just jet lag and just getting home, sorted at home and work got in the way. I wouldn't say got in the way, but just took priority. So I had a bit of a gap between episodes. But we're now back into the flow with 2 or 3 episodes in now. Regular content. Hopefully you are as well, getting used to the content again. And you've caught, you might have fallen behind a little bit, so it's good to give you that chance that week to catch up a little bit. So let's continue with today's episode. So, as I mentioned, this is the Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect SE100 exam series, and this is now topic 6, and we're on part 2 of topic 6. So today's, again, the topic is designing solutions for identity and access management. We had a look at Entra in the demo last episode. So today we're going to talk about specifying requirements to secure Active Directory domain services, ADDS. And we're going to talk about designing a solution for external identities. Then we'll do a bit of a demo. We'll have a look at external identities a little bit. So let's talk about specifying requirements to secure Active Directory domain services, or ADDS. Active Directory domain services obviously being on premises. So the kind of crux of the problem is really twofold. We've got, trying to reduce that attack surface. It's got 2 elements of the problem. It's usually easy for an attacker to obtain deep privileges on a sort of single computer, and then propagate the privilege broadly to other computers as well. And also, then the second thing is there are usually too many permanent accounts with high privileges as well across that sort of computing landscape, which adds to that issue as well. We'll talk about implementing secure administrators, administrative hosts, to effectively secure systems against attacks. A few sort of general principles should really be kept in mind. And that sort of first one is, you should never administer a trusted system that's a secure server, such as domain control, for example, from a less trusted host. So that is a workstation that is not secured to the same sort of degree as the systems it manages. And this is where kind of admin tiering comes in, a bit outside the scope of this episode. You should not rely on a sort of single authentication factor either when performing sort of privileged activities. That is, username and password combination should not be sort of considered acceptable authentication, because only a single factor, or something for example, is represented. You should consider where credentials are sort of generated and cached, or sort of stored in that sort of administrative scenarios as well. And although most attacks in the sort of current threat landscape leverage malware and sort of malicious hacking, do not omit physical security when designing and implementing the secure administrative host as well. And again, make sure when we talk about securing domain controllers against attack as well, sort of 3 primary aspects of sort of securing domain controllers. The first one is sort of obviously physical security, as I just mentioned, for those sort of domain controllers. Obviously in a data center, physical domain controllers should be installed in sort of dedicated secure racks or cages that are separate from the general server population. And if you implement virtual domain controllers, you should ensure that the domain controllers are on a sort of separate physical host to the other sort of virtual servers in your environment. Another point is domain controller sort of operating systems as well. So you should run on you should run all your sort of domain controllers on the newest versions of Windows Server that are supported within your organization. Organizations as well should prioritize decommissioning sort of legacy OS in the domain controller population as well. So point 3 that I want to dwell on with this, this sort of topic is, secure configurations of your domain controllers as well. So tools can be used to create a sort of initial security configuration baseline for your domain controllers, and these are then later enforced by group policies. These baselines should include things like RDP restrictions, patch and configuration management for domain controllers, blocking internet access for sort of domain controllers as well, perimeter firewall restrictions, as well as preventing web browsers from domain controllers, so you can't access any internet essentially. Let's talk a little bit now about designing a solution for external identities. So obviously, sort of talking about B2B here. So from a Microsoft Entra external identity perspective, we've got business to business. So first of all, we've got B2B collaboration. So this is where you use their preferred identity to sign into their Microsoft applications or other sort of enterprise applications such as SaaS, custom developed apps, and so on. So the external user uses their preferred identity of their home tenant basically, and this is represented in your directory as typically as a guest user. We then got B2B Direct Connect. So this is a two-way trust for another Entra organization to sort of seamlessly collaborate. It currently supports Teams, shared channels, enabling external users to access your resources from within their sort of home instances of Teams as well. Users are not represented in your directory, but they're visible from within the Teams shared channel, and you can be kind of monitored in Teams admin center reports as well. So let's talk about Microsoft Entra External ID now. So you can use what it says Azure AD B2B. Let's just say call it Microsoft Entra B2B. This is publishing modern SaaS apps or custom developed apps, excluding Microsoft apps, to consumers and customers while using Azure or Entra B2B for identity and access management. Then we've got Microsoft Entra ID multi-tenant organization as well. So this is like collaborate with multiple tenants in a sort of single Microsoft Entra ID organization via cross-tenant synchronization. So just want to talk some sort of takeaways from the sort of external identities topic. Microsoft Entra External Identities refers to all the ways in which we can securely interact with sort of users outside our business or organization. If you want to collaborate with partners, distributors, suppliers, or sort of vendors, you can share your resources and define how your internal users can access external organizations. If you're a developer creating sort of consumer-facing apps, you can manage your customers' identity experience. With external identities, external users can sort of bring their own identity almost. Whether they have a corporate or government issued digital identity, or even a sort of unmanaged sort of social identity like Google or LinkedIn or Facebook, they can use their own credentials to sign in. The external user's identity provides sort of identity provider manages their identity, and you manage access to your apps with Entra ID or Entra B2C to keep your resources protected. It has the following sort of capabilities, which are B2B collaboration. So this is to collaborate with external users by letting them use their preferred identity to sign into sort of Microsoft applications or sort of external enterprise applications using SaaS apps, custom developed apps, and so on. B2B collaboration users are represented in your directory typically as guest users, as we mentioned. You then got B2B Direct Connect. So this is establishing a two-way mutual trust essentially with another Entra ID tenant or organization. This is for sort of seamless collaboration. B2B Direct Connect currently supports team shared channels, enabling external users to access your resources within their home instances of Teams. And B2B Direct Connect users are not represented in your directory, but they are visible within Teams shared channel, and you can monitor in Teams admin center as well, admin center reports as well. Then again, we've called it as your AD B2C, but we're going to call it Microsoft Entra B2C, which is business to consumer. Again, just to summarize, this is to publish modern SaaS apps or custom developed apps. This is excluding Microsoft apps to consumers and customers while using the sort of Entra B2C for identity and access management as well. And finally, you've got that multi-tenant org, so Microsoft Entra ID multi-tenant organization. This is collaborate with multiple tenants in a single Microsoft ID organization via cross-tenant synchronization. So that brings us to the end of the sort of theory. Let's have a look at some of those collaboration options within Entra. We can do a bit of configuration to show how they work. So let's jump into the demo tenant. Welcome back. We are, it's a bit like a Jedi mind trick, that, doesn't it? I do apologise. We're back in the demo tenant. We're actually looking at Entra here specifically because I want to look at external identities. We talked about it in topic 2, or topic 6, part 2. So yeah, within the new Entra portal, we go within identities. There's an external identities section, and here you have a bit of an overview, and it looks like, we can look at cross-tenant access settings, all that, and then it provides us external collaboration settings as well. We've got cross-tenant settings. Here's where we can integrate. We can see from default settings, we have obviously B2B collaboration, which applies to external users and groups, which is allowed. B2B collaboration to applications, which is allowed. But B2B Direct Connect currently is blocked, and B2B Direct Connect for applications and end users all blocked. And trust settings is also disabled. This is specifically in my tenant, remember. Just say you're modifying default settings impacts all collaboration with Entra tenants. So from outbound connectivity perspective, everything, B2B collaboration with users, groups, and external apps is allowed, but anything direct connect for outbound is blocked. So I'm kind of same across the board. Me inbound and outbound access by default is blocked for B2B direct connect. And then we talk about tenant restriction defaults here, external user and groups, and applications. For tenant restrictions are blocked. So again, I can go into each of these and edit those if I want. I can allow access or block. Again, allow access or block at the moment. So B2B direct inbound settings are blocked. And my trust settings as well. I can trust multi-factor authentication for Entra tenants. I can trust compliant devices. So again, these are all settings you can configure when it comes to cross-tenant access settings, depending on what your requirements are. Here we have all the sort of built-in sort of providers. We've got Entra configured, we've got one-time password coming Microsoft, we've not got Google or Facebook configured, but we can go into these and configure those if we want to integrate our Google. You can get instructions online on how to do that. Also we can do Facebook, again, same thing. You basically set up an app essentially, and you can get client ID and secret from there. We've got custom identity providers as well, so we can add a custom one here if we wanted to. With SAML and RWS Fed integration. And then we've got general external collaboration settings here. So we'll talk about guest user access. We've got here that guest users have limited access to properties and membership. So this is probably a medium restrictiveness, but we've also got obviously a more inclusive and more restrictive as well. When we get to guest invite settings, anyone in my organization at the moment is the most inclusive. I can change that to so only members of a specific group or only administrator roles can. And then about enabling guest self-service sign-in via user flows, I've got that enabled. Again, you can change all these to kind of set for what you want as an organisation. So yeah, I just wanted to show some of the external collaboration options that we do have within Entra. And again, we've touched on those within this episode. So hopefully that's giving you a bit of an idea. And again, gives you something to think about when you're designing the IAM, especially external collaboration. So yeah, hopefully you've gained that. If you know how to play with Entra, especially the external collaboration, definitely recommend it. It will put you in good stead for this exam because there is an identity element to the SE 100 exam, as we've seen with this module so far. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this topic. Do drop me a like and especially drop me a comment with any feedback if there's any aspect you think I've missed or you got any queries about this video. I've had a couple of people ask me questions about specific areas which I'm happy to answer. All my socials are down. Make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter as well, or give me a follow on TikTok where I do some day in life stuff, which is sometimes a bit of fun. Loads of useful links in the description as well. Link to my socials, a link to the GitHub repository where some of the case studies are for the equivalent labs, but they're not really hands-on labs, which is why I'm doing a bit different. But also a link to the Measure Up practice exam. I definitely recommend doing practice exams. There's a bit of a discount at the moment, but I definitely recommend doing those so you can get helps you kind of practice questions. And these are all legitimate. Again, the Measure Up are a Microsoft partner with practice exams, so definitely recommend doing that. So thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, goodbye.